struggled to stay conscious. The shark circled her once more before it lunged at her, this time going for her neck and head. Mary felt the unbearable pain as her flesh ripped apart. And then, everything went dark. Days passed, and reports of Mary's disappearance surfaced. The authorities searched the area, but no body was found. The news assumed that she was devoured by sharks frequenting the area. Mary's family was devastated by the news, and they mourned her loss. The incident served as a stark reminder of the dangers that lurk beneath the waters, even in the most beautiful of places. Mary's legacy lived on, and her research continued to inspire generations of marine biologists. Her death was a tragedy. Himself. His heart was still racing, but he managed to fend off the first attack. But the shark wasn't finished yet. After 5 long minutes, the shark circled back, and this time it was more aggressive than before. Brent's heart seized in his chest as he saw the massive bull shark charging at him with unrelenting determination. Its sleek body cut through the water with deadly speed, its eyes fixed on Brent as if he was its only prey. He braced himself, summoning every ounce of courage to fight back. As the shark closed in, Brent kicked and thrashed, desperately trying to fend off the beast. But the shark was a force of nature, its massive jaws clamping down on Brent's left leg with brutal force. Brent's worst nightmare had come true, as the shark's teeth sank into his flesh, sending waves of searing pain through his body. He let out a guttural scream, his mind racing with fear and adrenaline as he grappled with the imminent danger. With blood staining the water around him, Brent knew he couldn't afford to be passive. He had to fight back, or he would become the next victim of the relentless bull shark. With trembling hands, he reached for the knife strapped to his leg, his fingers fumbling in his urgency. The knife felt small in his grasp, but it was his only hope. Summoning every bit of strength he had, Brent plunged the knife into the shark's gills. The predator recoiled in agony. The shark released his grip on his leg and thrashed away.
A buzz of excitement filled the air. The town, known for its pristine beaches and crystal-clear waters, a trail of a lifetime. But the dive was far from over. Little did they know that the real adventure was yet to begin. The waters remained calm for a while after the bull shark's departure. Still buzzing from the encounter, Alex thought about the majestic creature. However, Diego wore a look of concern. Though not typically aggressive, he had been diving in these waters for years and knew that bull sharks could be unpredictable. As the group continued to explore, Diego's experienced ears picked up on a sound that sent chills down his spine. A low-frequency thrum, almost invisible but unmistakable to him. The bull shark was returning and seemed more curious, perhaps even agitated. Before Diego could warn the group, the shark made its presence known. It darted towards Alex, who, in his earlier enthusiasm, had strayed slightly from the group. The rapid movement of the shark startled Alex, causing him to drop his camera, which sank into the depths below. Diego, realizing the gravity of the situation, swam swiftly toward Alex, positioning himself between the young tourist and the approaching shark. Using his experience, he tried to make himself appear larger, waving his arms and releasing bubbles from his regulator, attempting to deter the shark. The bull shark, possibly perceiving this as a challenge, made a swift warning pass close to Diego, its powerful tail brushing against him. Sensing the imminent danger, the rest of the group began to ascend slowly, releasing safety balloons to mark their position. Alex, paralyzed with fear, clung to Diego. The seasoned diver whispered words of reassurance, instructing Alex to stay calm and ascend slowly. The shark, perhaps distracted by the other divers or sensing no immediate threat, began to distance itself. After what felt like hours but was only minutes, Diego and Alex reached the surface where Marina's Pride awaited them. The safety balloons alerted the crew on board and were ready to assist. Once on board, Alex, still in shock, clutched Diego tightly, thanking him for his bravery. The experience had a profound impact on Alex. He realized the importance of respecting nature and its inhabitants. He returned to the city with a memorable experience, a story of survival, and a newfound respect for the ocean's wonders. On the other hand, Diego continued diving, sharing his knowledge and experiences, always emphasizing the importance of safety and respect for marine life. As for the bull shark, it remained in the deep blue, a reminder of nature's wild. Amidst the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean lies the secluded Coral Bay, a gem known only to a few seasoned travelers. In 2010, Coral Bay was not just a retreat for marine enthusiasts, but also the host of the annual Marine Fest, a festival celebrating the ocean and its wonders. Clara Bennett, a 25-year-old tourist from Canada, had timed her visit perfectly. With golden sands, turquoise waters, and vibrant festivities, the most breathtaking photo would win the Ocean's Eye Award. Untouched by commercial tourism, Coral Bay was a haven for diverse marine life. From vibrant coral reefs to playful sea turtles, it was a paradise for underwater enthusiasts. But what truly set Coral Bay apart was the occasional sighting of the bull shark, a creature revered and feared by those who knew of its presence. The award ceremony, earning her the Ocean's Eye Award. The recognition was heartening, but for Clara, the day's events had instilled a deeper understanding and respect for the ocean and its inhabitants. She spent the remainder of her trip engaging with marine biologists present at the festival, learning more about bull sharks and their behavior. The knowledge she gained was invaluable, and she decided to channel her experience into raising awareness about marine safety and conservation for education and respect when venturing into the natural habitats of wild animals. Coral Bay continued attracting tourists worldwide with its pristine beauty and rich marine life. Among the many tales shared by visitors, Clara's story stood out as a testament to the wonders and dangers of Australia, was a beacon for those who sought the embrace of nature. With its quaint streets and friendly locales, the town starkly contrasted with the bustling cities dotted the coast. But it wasn't just the charm of the town that attracted visitors. It was the allure of the vast ocean that lay adjacent to it. Among the many who were drawn to its shores was Ethan Wallace, a revered and feared creature, had him packing his bags and heading to Byron Bay. Upon his arrival, Ethan wasted no time. Eager to dive into the waters and experience its wonders firsthand, sun casting a golden hue over the waters, the group, equipped with advanced diving gear, set out again. The ocean, vast and mysterious, beckoned them. As they descended, the beauty of the marine world unfolded. Vibrant corals, schools of colorful fish, and the gentle sway of underwater plants created a mesmerizing tableau. However, as they ventured deeper, the atmosphere grew tense. The group was acutely aware of the potential dangers, especially in the region where they had previously encountered the bull shark. Their movements were deliberate, and they maintained a tight formation. Driven by curiosity and bravado, Ethan ventured slightly away from the group to explore a unique rock formation. It was then that he felt a sudden, powerful force. Before fully comprehending what was happening, he met with the same bull shark. In a swift move, the shark's powerful jaws clamped down on Ethan's leg, causing him to release a flurry of bubbles as he gasped in pain. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Natalie and the other divers acted quickly. They created a commotion to distract the shark using their diving tools and equipment. Their efforts paid off as the bull shark, momentarily disoriented, released its grip on Ethan. The group should have spent more time at the beginning of their ascent. With Natalie and another diver supporting Ethan, they made their way to the surface. Once on the boat, they quickly administered first aid to Ethan, wrapping his injured leg to stem the bleeding. The return to Byron Bay was somber. The reality of the ocean's unpredictability and its dangers was evident. Though in pain, Ethan was grateful for the quick thinking and actions of Natalie and the group. During his recovery, Ethan reflected on his experiences. The ocean, with its beauty and dangers, had taught him valuable lessons about respect and appreciation for the marine world. His adventure had been thrilling and humbling, a reminder of the delicate balance between paradise of Laguna Island 2005. The beaches shimmered under the golden sun, and the palm trees swayed to the rhythm of the ocean breeze. The island was a favorite among travelers, especially for its renown, and signaled the group to begin their ascent. The journey back to the surface was tense. The younger sharks, more interested and less predictable than the older ones, followed them for a while before eventually losing interest. When the group finally broke the water's surface, relief washed over them. They had ventured into the unknown and returned with a tale for the ages. Back on Laguna Explorer, Lily sat, processing the events. The touch, the connection she had felt with the bull shark, was something she would cherish forever. On the other hand, Marco decided that some legends were best left unexplored. He vowed never to return to the shark's lair, respecting it as a sanctuary for the majestic creatures. The story of their encounter became the talk of Laguna Island. Locals listened with bated breath, some in disbelief, others nodding, their ancestral tales validated. Lily left the island with memories and a profound respect for the ocean and its inhabitants. And as for the shark's lair, it remained undisturbed, a realm where nature reigned supreme, reminding all of the delicate balance between curiosity and respect.
Seeking a break from the blistering cold of their home country. As they boarded a boat for a tour around the lake, their excitement grew, and they were mesmerized by the breathtaking scenery surrounding them. The lush greenery of the surrounding landscape, the tranquil waters of the lake, and the gentle breeze rustling through the trees created a serene atmosphere. The boat glided smoothly through the water as the couple marveled at the beauty of their surroundings. Swim had turned into a heart-stopping battle for survival, as John remained oblivious to the deadly predator lurking just beneath the surface, poised to unleash its primal power. Katie's heart skipped a beat as she realized the danger that her husband was in. She screamed, trying to warn John of the impending attack, but it was too late. In a split second, the bull shark shot out from under the water like a torpedo, its jaws clamping down on John's leg with brutal force. John cried out in agony as the shark thrashed, mauling him in a frenzy. Katie's screams echoed across the lake, alerting their guide, who was still on the boat. He sprang into action, grabbing a spear gun and a knife, and leapt into the water to rescue John. The water turned into a swirling vortex of blood and water as the shark continued its attack, tearing through John's flesh mercilessly. Katie could only watch in horror, paralyzed by fear. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, the guide deftly made his way towards John and the ferocious shark, his mind racing with urgency. As he closed in, he took a deep breath, steadying his nerves, and with one swift motion, thrust his spear gun into the side of the frenzied predator. They learned to cherish every moment, living life to the fullest, and never taking. The hustle and bustle of the city began to take its toll on her. Melissa craved an escape to a place where she could find solace and rejuvenation. She decided to take her whole family to the island of Maui in Hawaii, a place known for its idyllic beaches and tranquil waters. The idea of exploring the stunning coastline and indulging in water activities was enough. Waters glimmered in the sunlight, and the white sandy beaches stretched for miles, inviting them to explore. The constant murmur of the waves crashing against the shore provided a soothing soundtrack to their adventures, while the soft sand tickled their toes. But beneath the idyllic scenery lay a world of danger, and it was only a matter of time before they would find themselves entangled in its grasp. As the sun began to set, Melissa and her family sat down at a beachside bar to enjoy a drink and soak up the island's ambiance. Molokini Crater, a dormant undersea volcanic crater. Intrigued, Melissa and her family eagerly inquired for more details about the location. The local described it as a magnificent wonder of nature, with an abundance of marine life and underwater caves waiting to be explored. As the group imagined themselves diving into the clear blue water of the crater, they felt a sense of excitement and apprehension. They had never attempted anything like this before, and the unknown dangers lurking beneath the surface added to the thrill. The idea of venturing into a crater formed by a volcano that had been active in the past made their hearts race. Despite their hesitation, they decided to take the plunge and embark on this new adventure. On the day of the dive, the family was bubbling with excitement as they strapped on their diving gear and jumped into the cool, clear water surrounding Molokini Crater. The vibrant colors of the coral reef below were mesmerizing, and the family couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and awe at the otherworldly beauty before them. Schools of brightly colored fish swam around them, while majestic sea turtles glided gracefully by, mixing with the salt water. The smell of the blood in the water crazed the other sharks, who were overcome with their primal instincts and hunger. The other sharks started attacking Melissa, who was helpless against the might of the predatory beast of the sea. As the first shark latched onto Melissa's leg, tossing her around like a rag doll in the water, one shark latched onto Melissa's arm. Suddenly, in a bone-crunching bite, both sharks bit off Melissa's limbs. Melissa couldn't even scream, as another shark bit off her head. The sharks continued their harrowing attack. Some sharks began ripping the other limbs, while one bit on Melissa's torso, dragging her mangled, lifeless body to the depths of the ocean. Melissa's family could only watch in horror as this pack of tiger sharks ripped her apart. The Coast Guard responded to the distress call of the guide, but it was no use. After several days of search, no part of Melissa was found. Her family was left with the emotional scar of watching their and they had been recently married. They always dreamed of spending their honeymoon in Hawaii, and they had been planning their dream honeymoon for months. They were both passionate about the ocean and the thrill of catching waves, and they couldn't wait to explore the famous surf spots in Hawaii. It was the perfect destination for the romantic getaway. As they landed in Honolulu, they were greeted by the sun and warm, salty breeze and the sound of waves crashing against the shore. They checked into their cozy beachfront cottage and immediately fell in love with the stunning scenery around them. And as they stepped onto the sand, they felt like they were in paradise. The first few days of their honeymoon were spent surfing some of the best waves in the world. They visited Waikiki Beach, where they rode the gentle waves and watched the local surfers show off their skills. They also went to the North Shore, where they challenged themselves with the bigger, more powerful waves. They also hiked through the lush rainforest, and they visited the historic Pearl Harbor Memorial. On the second week of their honeymoon, they decided to visit the island of Maui. There, they rented a Jeep and drove along the scenic road to Hana, taking in breathtaking views of the coastline. One day, they decided to try their luck at a secluded surf spot that they had heard about from the locals. It was a hidden gem, surrounded by stunning cliffs and crystal clear water. As they paddled out, they noticed that there was no other surfers around, and they felt like they had found their own private paradise. But as they waited for the next set of waves, they suddenly heard a loud splash behind them. They noticed a dark shape moving towards them. At first, they thought it was a dolphin, but as it got closer, they realized it was a tiger shark, its jaws wide open. The shark's razor-sharp teeth were visible, and the couple froze in terror. Their hearts raced as they watched the shark swim towards them, its sharp teeth glinting in the sun. Sebastian and Olivia tried to paddle away, but the shark quickly caught up to them. The couple could see the shark circling them, and they knew they were in serious trouble. Fear filled their hearts as they saw the massive predator getting closer and closer. Olivia's heart was pounding as she remembered stories of tiger sharks attacking humans. She looked over at Sebastian, who was trying to remain calm, but she could see the fear in his eyes too. They had never felt so vulnerable before. The couple tried to stay together and keep their boards close, hoping that the shark would lose interest and swim away. But the tiger sparkled under the bright sun, and the soft sand felt warm and inviting underfoot. The ocean breeze carried with it the scent of salt and sea, and the sound of crashing waves provided a soothing small yacht for the day, promising them a day of adventure and excitement. As they sailed further away from the shore, the group cracked open beers and started to let loose. The sun was shining, the water was warm, and the day was theirs for daring each other to see who could stay under the longest. Andy was hesitant at first, knowing that the deep waters were home to all kinds of creatures, some of them dangerous. But the peer pressure and the allure of adventure deepened, and they turned their hobby into a profession. Together, they created a YouTube channel dedicated to wildlife documentaries, specializing in sharks. Their unique videos showcased the lives of these creatures and dispelled many of the myths and misconceptions that surrounded them. They braved dangerous waters and weather to capture stunning footage that left viewers spellbound. Behind the camera, Matthew and Gina were not only colleagues, but also lifelong best friends, with a deep respect for the ocean and its inhabitants. That's why when their YouTube channel hit 1 million subscribers, Matthew and Gina were over the moon. They had come a long way since starting their wildlife documentaries together and wanted to celebrate with their loyal viewers. To show their gratitude, they decided to let their followers choose the topic for their next documentary. They set up a poll and asked viewers to vote for the wildlife they wanted to see next. The poll results were in, and the winner was the bull sharks of the Zambezi River in Mozambique. The duo packed their bags and headed to Mozambique, where they met up with their local guide, who would take them to the best spots to film the bull sharks. They spent several days on the river, getting up early in the morning to catch the sharks feeding, and staying out late at night to capture their nocturnal habits. The 3 days of the shoot had been nothing short of amazing. Matthew and Gina had captured some incredible footage of the bull sharks in the Zambezi River, showcasing their strength, speed, and grace. But there was something that had been nagging and hugged her body tightly, making her feel as if she was part of the ocean herself. With her hair floating around her, she swam with effortless elegance through the vibrant blue world that surrounded her. Her eyes shone with excitement as she took in the breathtaking scenery that lay beneath her. She had spent countless hours studying the intricate ecosystem of the reef, from the colorful coral to the dazzling schools of fish that swam by. And as she explored this mesmerizing underwater wonderland once again, she was filled with awe at the intricate balance of life that existed there. Each time she plunged into the depths of the reef, Mary felt like she was stepping into a magical realm, where the beauty and harmony of nature never ceased to amaze her. Ningalo Reef was a coral paradise, with its stunning array of corals in all shapes and sizes, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that seemed almost otherworldly. Mary had dedicated her life to understand the weapon tightly, ready to strike at a moment's notice, her eyes scanning the dark waters for any signs of the shark's next move. The tension was palpable as she waited for the inevitable attack, her heart racing with the knowledge that her life was in mortal danger. The tiger shark surged towards Mary with astonishing speed, its massive jaws opening wide, revealing row upon row of razor-sharp teeth. She reacted with lightning reflexes, slashing at the shark with her knife, aiming for its sides in a desperate attempt to fend off the imminent attack. But the predator seemed relentless, undeterred by her efforts. Its powerful muscles propelled it forward, and in a split second, Mary felt searing pain as the shark's jaws closed around her right arm. She screamed, her mind reeling in shock as she watched in horror as her limb was torn off in a brutal bone-crunching snap. Blood clouded the water, then Mary's body convulsed in agony as she struggled to comprehend the nightmare unfolding before her. Mary's mind raced as she fought to stay calm. She knew she had to get to the surface and get help, but the shark was relentless. It circled her, its cold eyes fixed on her remaining limbs. With all her strength, Mary tried to swim towards the surface, but the shark was faster. It lunged at her, latching on to one of her legs. Mary kicked with all her might, using her free leg to try and fend off the surfer. He's always on the lookout for new surf spots with the most exciting currents and biggest swells. He lives for the rush of adrenaline that comes with riding unpredictable waters and conquering the volatility of the sea. So when he heard about the Gold Coast in Australia, James knew he had to go. It's a surfer's paradise, a place where the ocean swells and wind conditions combine to create some of the most perfect waves on the planet. The surf breaks in Gold Coast are legendary for a good reason. The waves are powerful and consistent, rising up like liquid mountains before crashing down with thunderous force. As James sets foot on the golden sand of the Gold Coast, he feels the energy and excitement of the surf culture all around him. The sun beats down on his skin, and the sound of the waves crashing against the shore fills his ears. He can't wait to paddle out and catch his first wave, to feel the rush of adrenaline and the joy of being one with the ocean. For a surfer like James, the Gold Coast is more than just a destination. It's a pilgrimage to a place where the elements come together to create the perfect wave, and he's ready to ride it all the way to the shore. For the first few days of his trip to the Gold Coast, James had been exploring the vibrant underwater world that lay just beneath the surface of the crystal clear waters. Snorkeling and scuba diving had become his daily routine, and he marveled at the colorful corals, exotic fish, and elusive sea turtles that had captured his heart. One sunny afternoon, James decided to venture out on a solo swim, feeling confident and at ease in the water. He was surrounded by the beauty of the reef and enjoyed the sensation of gliding through the water. Although he had heard stories of sharks in the area, James brushed off the thought, knowing that shark attacks were rare and that he had years of experience in the water. As James swam along, admiring the stunning underwater scenery, he noticed a large shadow approaching him. His heart skipped a beat as he realized it was a great white shark. The massive creature glided gracefully through the water, its sleek body perfectly designed for hunting. James was awestruck by the sight of the majestic predator, but he knew that he had to remain calm and collected if he wanted to survive this encounter. James was paralyzed with fear as the great white shark closed in on him, its jaws wide open. He tried to swim away as quickly as he could, but the shark was too fast, and it was upon him in an instant, leaving Brent floating in the water, his leg a mangled mess of torn flesh and blood. The pain was excruciating, but Brent knew he couldn't give up. He tried to stay calm, but panic threatened to overwhelm him as he felt the blood flowing from his leg, creating a crimson trail in the water. He knew he had to get out of there, and fast. He scanned the surroundings, looking for any sign of help, but the vast expanse of the ocean seemed unforgiving and empty. Despite the pain and the growing sense of dread, Brent forced himself to stay afloat, using every bit of willpower to stay conscious. His vision blurred, and the salt water stung his open wound, but he refused to let go. He was determined to survive. Just when he thought all hope was lost, a distant speck caught his eye. A fishing boat was approaching, like a lifeline in the vast ocean. Brent waved his arms frantically, his voice hoarse from his earlier screams, as the crew spotted him and rushed to his aid. Brent was pulled aboard the boat, his body limp, and his mind hazy from the pain and shock. The crew acted swiftly to the hospital, knowing that he had narrowly escaped the jaws of death. In the hospital, Brent underwent multiple surgeries and a grueling recovery process. The physical pain was immense, but the emotional scars ran even deeper. Brent had faced his mortality in the most brutal way, and the trauma would stay with him for a lifetime. He knows this spot well, like an old friend, and feels comfortable navigating the waves that can be both gentle and fierce. The waters of Kewalo are truly breathtaking, with their crystal clear depths and warm, inviting temperatures. They are known to be some of the best in Hawaii, a surfer's paradise, with reliable waves that consistently break on a shallow reef. This shallow reef creates a unique surfing experience, with waves that break evenly and peel perfectly along the shore, providing the perfect canvas for a skilled surfer to carve and glide with grace and ease. One fateful day after catching a few good rides, he lay on his stomach, letting his legs dangle into the water below. The sea was calm and tranquil, and Evan was content to simply soak in the beauty of the ocean that surrounded him. But suddenly, he felt the sharp and intense pressure on his right leg, as if something had taken a hold of it with tremendous force. At first, he thought it might have been a stray piece of seaweed or wayward rock, but the pain quickly intensified, and he knew something was wrong. He looked down and saw a large dark shape moving quickly beneath him, its jaws clamped tightly around his leg. In that moment, Evan realized he had encountered a tiger shark. He could feel the raw power of the creature as it thrashed about, dragging him and his board through the water. Fear and adrenaline coursed through his veins as he struggled to stay afloat and keep his wits about him. As Evan struggled to stay afloat and fend off the powerful shark that had latched onto his leg, his mind raced with fear and uncertainty. But even in the midst of this terrifying ordeal, Evan was a creature, each blow fueled by a primal instinct to survive. His fellow surfers heard his shouts and swearing and paddled towards him, but the struggle persisted. The shark was relentless, refusing to let go of Evan's leg, even as he punched and kicked with all his might. As the battle raged on, Evan felt a sudden jerk and was pulled beneath the waves. He was dragged into the deep, murky water, the weight of the ocean pressing down on him. But even as he was swallowed by the darkness, Evan refused to give up. He kept fighting, his adrenaline surging and drowning out the excruciating pain in his mangled leg. Desperate to survive, Evan mustered all his strength and wrapped his arms around the massive shark, squeezing it in a bear hug. His heart pounding with fear and adrenaline, he reached for the shark's gills, his fingers digging into the soft flesh. With every punch and claw, Evan felt the shark's body convulse with pain. He could hear the creature's labored breaths, its thrashing becoming more and more erratic. And then suddenly, he felt the shark's jaws loosen its grip on his leg. Evan didn't waste a second. With a surge of energy, he pushed away from the shark and kicked towards the surface, his lungs burning for air. As he emerged from the water, gasping and coughing, he looked down and saw the massive creature disappear ashore. They worked frantically to staunch the bleeding from Evan's leg. Some of them used their board leashes to create a makeshift tourniquet, their hands slick with Evan's blood. Through it all, Evan remained conscious, his mind racing with a mix of pain, fear, and determination. At one point, he mustered the strength to look down at his leg and was shocked to see only bone where his ankle and foot used to be. Despite the agony, Evan knew that he had to keep fighting. He gritted his teeth as the doctors rushed him into surgery, his body racked with pain as they amputated his right foot. But through it all, Evan never lost his spirit, and for most of his life, he had learned the trade from his father, who had been a fisherman before him.
98 was shaping up to be an unforgettable year. The city, with its golden sands and azure waters, was gearing up for its annual surfing championship. Tourists and surf enthusiasts flocked to the beaches, eager to witness the spectacle. Jamie Foster, a 19-year-old local, was the star everyone was betting on. With a natural talent for surfing and a deep connection to the ocean, he was Wavecrest's pride. Every morning, before the beaches get crowded, Jamie would be out on the waves, practicing his moves. On one such morning, the sea was particularly challenging. The waves were higher, the currents stronger. But Jamie, with his indomitable spirit, was undeterred. As he ventured further out, he felt a sudden pull on his surfboard. As Jamie glanced downward, he spotted a shadow darting swiftly beneath him. Before he could react, a hammerhead shark, enticed by the board's movement, lunged at him, clamping its jaws down on his ankle. The pain was immediate and searing. Blood clouded the water around Jamie as he tried to free himself from the shark's grip. Each second felt like an eternity. The once serene morning had turned into a scene of chaos. On the shore, a few early risers noticed the struggle. Among them was Alex Turner, a former lifeguard with years of experience. Alex dove into the water without a second thought, swimming with powerful strokes towards Jamie. The shark, perhaps startled by Jamie's frantic movements, momentarily released its grip, but didn't attack again. Perhaps it had realized that Jamie wasn't its usual prey. By the time they reached the shore, a crowd had gathered, fire throughout Wavecrest. The beach was temporarily closed, and the surfing championship was postponed. The incident served as a stark reminder of the unpredictability of the ocean and the creatures that inhabit it. The sun was setting, casting a golden hue over Wavecrest's beaches. The aftermath of the shark attack had left the community in shock, but Jamie's championship was just a week away. The event was not just a competition, but a celebration of the bond between the surfer and the sea. Many expected Jamie to withdraw, but he had other plans. With the support of Alex and his friends, Jamie returned. Word spread that Jamie was training again, and the town rallied behind him. The beach became a hub of activity, with locals and tourists coming to watch the young surfer's comeback. His determination was infectious, inspiring others to face their fears. The day of the championship arrived, bringing an air of anticipation. The beach was packed, the atmosphere electric. As Jamie prepared for his turn, he took a moment to reflect. The ocean, with its vastness and unpredictability, was a reminder of the challenges life threw at him. But today, he wasn't just surfing for the title, but surfing for redemption. With a deep breath, Jamie paddled out. The waves, sensing his resolve, seemed to align in his favor. He displayed skill, grace, and a deep connection with the water with each ride. The crowd siren song for many, but for newcomers, they were a challenge to be conquered. With its serene beaches and clear waters, the town was a haven for novice and experienced surfers. Noah Bennett, a 22-year-old from the bustling city of Landridge, had recently moved to Seabrook for college. The ocean, with its vastness and mystery, had always intrigued him.